If you notice that your monthly grocery bills from Kroger have been more expensive than usual, it's not just you. According to the Cheapism blog, some products have gone up by 90% so far. The company said it will continue to pass on higher costs to consumers through the end of the year. In fact, higher prices may become the new normal for the grocer, retail experts say. In recent months, customers have been reporting price hikes on several items at Kroger stores, and for that reason, we've decided to analyze what's truly driving those increases, and what we discovered may come as a shock for many people out there. Before moving on, we'd like to kindly ask you to support our work with a thumbs up in this video, and don't forget to subscribe. Even after falling from its peak, inflation continues to bite U.S. shoppers, especially when they go to the grocery store. Higher costs are impacting all sectors and all businesses, but some of them have been passing along those increases, plus a little bit extra. That's what's been quietly going on at the stores of the second biggest grocery chain in America. Since the pandemic began, Kroger has been raising prices little by little. Consumers may not have noticed that at first, but now, after 2 years of continued surges, they certainly are. A report published by retail and grocery news blog Cheapism compared current prices on 35 Kroger items with prices obtained on the very same products 1 year ago, and it found that only 2 items saw price drops. 9 items remained unchanged, and the other 24 items had some eye-popping price increases. Overall, Kroger prices rose by 20.4% in the past couple of years, with 11% of that rise happening over the past 12 months. Vegetables have experienced significant increases between 41% and 50.4%, including carrots, cauliflower, zucchini, cucumber, red peppers, and green beans. While chicken prices jumped by 17% at Kroger, canned chicken soup shot up by 81%. Most fruits faced an increase of $1 to $1.79 per pound, such as apples, oranges, and berries. Flour prices jumped 22.3% since January, and eggs went from 79 cents to $1.69, a 90% surge. That's probably why the price of its brand name spaghetti went up 89% over that same span. When adding the cost of all of those staples, we can note that the pace of price increases at Kroger is around 50% higher than the industry's average rate of price increases. Although the company strategically raised costs in a gradual manner to prevent consumers from getting some serious sticker shock, at this point, they cannot hide that prices of pretty much everything have gone up substantially. "I can't believe this. This just keeps going up in price," said one shopper of Kroger's turkey breasts. In a recent video published on his channel, Adventures with Dano, the shopper noted that supplies are shrinking too. "You guys remember this was completely full of turkeys last week? Now this is all they got," he said, pointing to almost bare shelves. "Speaking of going up in price, we've got these tuna cans here," he continued, saying to his followers that he hopes people bought them when they were 89 cents a pack because they now cost $1.89, 40% increase from a week prior. "When they were about $1, I hope you bought some up. Now they're $1.89 a pack. That's up from $1.49 a pack last week. So that has gone up 40 cents in a week. That's ridiculous," Dano stressed. The shopper continues by checking out a pack of Bumblebee snack packs priced at $2.49. That's $1.25 at Dollar Tree, so you can get 2 of these at the price of 1 at Dollar Tree, the shopper exposes. "Guys, I'm telling you what right now, every time I come to Kroger, it's like week to week. We're finding tons of things going up in price," he says, and it's safe to say that he isn't alone. On Twitter, thousands of Kroger customers have been venting their frustration with the rising prices. One of them asked, "Why are groceries so expensive at Kroger right now?" To what another responded, "Kroger profits are at record highs. Its stock is up 36% in a year. its CEO got a 45% raise to $22 million. Meanwhile, 75% of its workers are food insecure. 63% can't pay their bills. Many are on food stamps, he wrote, attaching a link to an expose released earlier this year by the New York Times. The company is actually being accused by several lawmakers and representatives of price gouging. Rumors it has promptly denied, blaming inflation as the main cause of the increases. On December 2nd, Chief Financial Officer Gary Millerchip said Kroger was passing along higher costs to the consumer in several categories, where it makes sense to do so, he said. The executive also noted that Kroger is paying more to its suppliers due to challenges that have been affecting the whole industry. But while consumers are forced to spend more at its stores, the company keeps recording extraordinary profits. In fact, over the past quarter, Kroger's net income rose to $566 million just after hiking prices on consumers. Kroger's chairman and CEO Rodney McMullen said the company enjoyed record performance in the past couple of years. Meanwhile, the grocery chain spent a staggering $2.2 billion on shareholder handouts last year after it previously admitted it was letting customers absorb higher supply costs. At the same time, food suppliers such as Hormel Foods, Mondelez, General Mills have conducted several rounds of price increases since 2020. Unsurprisingly, they've been seeing record profits too. Data compiled by Accountable US found that Hormel Foods raised the price of its products for 5 consecutive quarters, while reporting record net sales and $132 million in first quarter shareholder dividends. The company's doing so well that it completed a $3.35 billion acquisition of Kraft Heinz's Planters Peanuts. That's the largest acquisition in the company's history. CEO Jim Snee even admitted that this acquisition was a catalyst for earnings growth. Meanwhile, Mondelez, who owns brands like Oreo, Ritz, Wheat Thins, and Triscuits, saw its gross profit increase by over $800 million last year. The company still pushed prices up between 7% and 35% in hundreds of different products and is leaving the door open to raising them again, despite spending nearly $4 billion on stock buybacks and dividends in 2021. Similarly, General Mills, which recently announced price hikes of 20% to 30% on hundreds of items, reported an $800 million quarterly operating profit, which may have helped pay for the nearly $1 billion spent on shareholder dividends and stock buybacks in just the first half of the 2022 fiscal year. On top of that, Albertsons Companies, which operate other grocery chains such as Safeway and has been purchased by Kroger, also chose to hike prices on consumers despite better-than-expected results, with its quarterly net income increasing 243% year-over-year. Essentially, Kroger did have to spend more money to ensure supplies, but while they're raising prices under the guise of increasing supplier costs, they're also adding a little extra on top of that. When grocery stores' costs rise, stores will mark up the full rate of inflation plus a little bit more, explains Bert Flickinger, the managing director of retail consultancy Strategic Resource Group. For example, the price of meat that Kroger paid to Tyson Foods went up by 6 cents a pound, but the store raised the price it charged for that same meat by 10 cents. Although 10 cents a pound makes little difference to anyone who isn't on a tight budget or doesn't want to do the math at the checkout line, for the store that's selling hundreds of pounds of that meat every day, that seemingly small increase actually gives them a sizable revenue boost. Inflation is the greatest gift the supermarket sector could get, said Flickinger. They've not had these inflation benefits in years. Believe it or not, Kroger's and Albertsons CEOs have explicitly admitted that they expect to benefit from rising prices. How a business operates the best when inflation is higher, Kroger CEO Rodney McMullen said during an earnings call with analysts. A little bit of inflation is always good in our business. Businesses like ours have done well when in periods where the inflation is ticking up, Albertsons CEO Vivek Sankaran said at an investor conference. According to Accountable.us, Kroger is among several major food industry companies using the pandemic-induced inflation as cover to increase their wealth and line their shareholders' pockets at the expense of working families. Kroger would have its customers believe they marked up prices just to keep up with outside costs. But the $500 million in net income last quarter and the whopping $2.2 billion worth of shareholder rewards the grocery giant doled out last year alone suggests otherwise, wrote Kyle Herrick, president of Accountable.us. The sooner corporations stop using this as an excuse to demand more from consumers while their profits soar, the sooner we'll see costs stabilize for working families, he emphasized. The New York Times expose revealed that in 2021, Kroger CEO Rodney McMullen actually earned 909 times that of the median worker. When corporate profits are at their highest levels in nearly 50 years, and companies are showering their shareholders with billions in new benefits over the last year, it raises serious questions whether industries like retail have had to hike prices on families to such excessive degrees, Herrick highlights. But the increases we've witnessed up until now are seemingly just the beginning. Kroger has recently bought out its competitor Albertsons in a $24.6 billion deal that's expected to create a new U.S. grocery giant with almost 5,000 stores, an annual revenue of about $200 billion. It was definitely a win for Albertsons, but it's probably going to be a loss for consumers, as explained by Morgan Stanley analysts. The industry has reached a point of consolidation that such a merger of this magnitude could result in structurally higher margins, Simeon Goodman said. The industry may be closer to oligopoly than we think. The supermarket giants said they intend to compete with Walmart, Amazon, and other major companies that have moved into the grocery selling space. Headquartered in Boise, Idaho, Albertsons has over 2,220 stores in 34 states and 270,000 employees, making it the fourth largest supermarket chain and owning a 5.7% market share, according to Numerator data. It includes brands like Safeway, Jewel-Osco, and Shaw's. For its part, Kroger is headquartered in Cincinnati, Ohio. It has 2,721 retail locations in 35 states. Kroger includes brands like Ralph's, Smith's, and Harris Teeter. The supermarket owns a 9.9% market share, ranking as the second biggest grocery retailer in the United States, just behind Walmart. Costco ranks third, followed by Albertsons, Numerator reports. Walmart has a 22% share compared to Amazon's 3% and Costco's 6%. Aldi and Dollar General have a combined 4% market share, it revealed. In October, the boards of both companies unanimously approved the merger deal. And now, the two chains are about to control 15.6% of the U.S. grocery market. But that is worrying advocates and lawmakers who've been voicing their growing concerns in the past few weeks. We are concerned that Kroger's proposed acquisition of Albertsons could result in undue market concentration, reads a letter from government officials. As a result, the combined company would be free to raise prices for consumers. There is no reason to allow two of the biggest supermarket chains in the country to merge, especially with food prices already soaring. Sarah Miller, executive director of the American Economic Liberties Project, said in a press release after the companies announced the deal. Studies mentioned by government officials in a letter sent to Congress in November indicate that grocery mergers have historically resulted in increased prices for shoppers. In past mergers, prices for consumers have gone up by at least an additional 7%. The letter also argued that the buying power of the grocery giant could drive small and medium-sized grocers out of business, and wages for staff could suffer in the merger's restructuring. Kroger has an obscure track record when it comes to the fair payment of its employees. With 60% of grocery sales concentrated among just 5 national chains, a Kroger-Albertsons deal would squeeze consumers already struggling to afford food, crush workers fighting for fair wages, and destroy independent community stores. This merger is a cut-and-dry case of monopoly power, and enforcers should block it, Miller added. On top of that, the merger could result in the closure of 400 Kroger stores due to antitrust laws. The closings would be on top of the dozens of shutdowns it conducted in the past few months, with another 4 locations set to close in Atlanta by the end of the year. Closing a store is a difficult decision, and one that we take very seriously, Lori Rhea, president of Kroger's Mid-Atlantic division, said in a statement. The store's low financial returns made it unfeasible to continue to operate, she said in a press release. Maybe prices rose much faster than people's incomes in the communities where the closings will occur. Perhaps soon, that'll be a problem affecting many other locations across the nation. But in any case, the grocery chain seems to be in far better shape than other retailers, and the merger is providing it the edge to continue to jack prices up while its customers face the bitter consequences. The prices you're seeing right now at Kroger stores are probably as low as they will ever be. The era of affordable food prices is over, and from now on, we will probably be forced to get used to some painful grocery bills.